gave me the inspiration for doing this was our lovely Jill, who made me one and sent it to me for Christmas. And I thought, that is fabulous. So here is the tea towel. You just put, yes, we've got the heating on in the house too. And here is the top. And really, it's the top that's really important. Now, what happens is we could do a buttonhole on here, but if you've got your cam snaps, it is like that. And my oven has got 2 doors which have like a handle, and you slot this over the handle and popper that together, the little loop, and you've got your tea towel hanging so that you can just go to it and dry your knives and forks. You know, when it's the odd ones, it's nice that you don't need the whole of the tea towel. Hi, Jill and John. And I just thought it's really cute. So I thought that is what we would do. Now, I think I'm going to put a tea towel, but you could do it with your towels, your hand towels, because how often we've got a ring towel holder in the downstairs loo. I think that upstairs they are bars, like a little hanger, which this would go on. But even the circles, the hoops that we put the towel through, how many times do the children go to it and the towel ends up on the floor? Whereas if it's hanging like this and you're only drying your hands and it's still in place. So I think it would be really, really good. And it will go in the washing machine, easy peasy. What I would say, if you are using a dark fabric, you may want to wash your fabric beforehand, especially if you're putting a white towel underneath, because the blue might go into your towel, or black, or red, or a dark green. I'm very bad at washing fabrics before I use them, but just telling you in advance, just in case. And especially, I think it happens more to lower priced fabrics where you're getting a bargain, but you don't realise that sometimes it hasn't got the dye fast solution in it, which means the dye is there to stay and doesn't run. So all of you ladies who are in Sew with Trisha, I have already, boy, am I being on the ball, I've already popped the template. So this is your template into the group so that should you want to make any, you've got the template for the top piece. And the bottom piece, on this occasion, I can actually make 2 out of 1 tea towel because we're going to cut the tea towel in half so that we can make 2. If you've got a bigger towel, you can always extend this. You can always make this wider at the bottom here. You can make your loop, your tab that's going to come over like that. You can make that longer, and you can make the actual, this portion wider if you want to as well. So the style or the basic is there for you, but you can adapt it to whatever. Oh, well done, Jane. Printed off already. You just need some some towels now. Well, you see, I knew yesterday I needed some tea towels because I'd had a look before. So onto the Long River I go, and I've ordered some, and they're coming between 2:45 and 4:45. Not good enough for me. Hence, we're going to have to use the old one. But it will still work. It will still work. And it will go in the washing machine. And who knows, I might put some whitener, or what would you put, vanish, that sort of thing in there. And it might bring them back to sparkling white again. So what I have done already, I have cut out my fabric because my tea towel has got green stripe and black stripe. I thought that would go quite nicely. So, dropped it. I have cut 2 of these, and I've actually put some fusible fleece on the back. You don't need to have fusible fleece. You could use your papery interfacing, the medium weight one that I use, H250, or you could use some G700, which is the cotton, the woven one, which is really, really nice because it's just going to give it a little bit of body. I don't know what I think Jill's used some, I'm feeling it. I think Jill must have used some H250. And it just, as I say, gives you that little bit of body to the top. So the other thing you need is a cam snap, a set of cam snaps. So let's have a look. I'm going to put the camera down because, oh, look at that, you see. Not too untidy, is it? No, because I'm in the conservatory. So having cut these out, and I've got, as I say, my fusible fleece on the back, I'm going to put them aside for the moment, because what I'm going to do is take my tea towel and I'm going to fold it in half. So I'm folding along the long edge. No, I won't push that out of the way. As you can see, it's just, okay. So let's just line that up. Oh, let's hold it like that. And I've got my scissors, and all I'm going to do is cut down here. Now this is where, if you have an overlocker, you could overlock these edges. Okay. Right, so I'm not going to use that bit because it's got a little stainy bit on it, but we can use this piece. Oh, that doesn't look too good either, but there we go. I'm just going to cut my label off like so. And at the end of the day, it's a tea towel. So the first thing that I am going to do is I need to make these raw edges of the toweling, because that will, you know, little bits will come off of there. So if you have an overlocker, overlock down this edge, it will be good, and then we can turn it over and stitch it. If you've got a machine, I'm using my straight stitch machine rather than getting out the zigzag one. You could zigzag down here if you're using your machine with a zigzag, or as I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is fold this over. I think I'm just going to fold it over once, and I'm just going to do a long straight stitch down here. So that is when I have found the, there we go. So I'm going to do a long straight stitch, and I'm folding it over probably just more than 1/4 of an inch. Just get that bit of thread out of the way. That's it. So just fold that over, just so that we haven't got a raw edge at the side. Overlocker would be perfect for this. Oh, what's it say? Making a little noise. Right. You know when it's making a noise and you think, what is that noise? That's it. Let me just have a look at my bobbin, just in case something is amiss. No. Okay. Let's put that under there. Push that down. And let's see. Just pull my thread up again. That's it. Oh, I need to put oil on this machine. Most machines, the oil automatically goes through, but on this one I do need to oil it probably once a month or so. So what I'm going to do, there we go, that's okay now. And I'm just running a second row down here because I'm not, there we are, because I'm not zigzagging it, just to give it an extra little bit of security there. Just chop that off and chop that off. I knew that's what I meant to bring. So at one end, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this. So I'm just going to, let's find the center. You could gather it with a gathering stitch, but I think I'm just going to place, oh, that was the center, wasn't it? So let's pull that over there. Let's, there's no right and wrong way to this. Oh, perhaps I could use, no, they're a bit further in on one side than the other. Let's fold that piece over like this. And I might have to use, I did have some pins sitting. So what have I done with those? Oh, unbelievable, Trisha, you are totally rubbish. I had them sitting there and then they disappeared. Oh no, here they are. I knew I should have them somewhere. So these are pins that I don't use that often, but let's just put a pin in there just to hold that together, and we'll fold another piece in this side, just line it up with the top so that we've got a little bit of gathering. There we are. And let's put a pin in here. Now what we need to make sure is that this part is short, slightly shorter, about ½ inch shorter than the top edge here. Okay, so I think we need to have that a little bit further in, because what we're going to do first of all is take our two pieces here and we're going to place them right sides together like so, and we're going to stitch all the way around the edge. Now I think it might be a good idea to turn this up first. Can you see? Because, so at the bottom, let's just turn that up and flip it over and turn the other edge up to meet that, so that we've got our hem, if you like. This is just going to make it easier when we do the final part. So let's pop a pin just to hold those together. And then at the other side here, we can fold those two edges back as well. And let me see, fold that back, and I suppose what I could have done, actually, what we'll change plan, rather than just folding it back at this point, let's just turn back, because we can always do a second row of stitching. Let's just top stitch along here, ½ inch turn back. There we go. And then similarly on here, ½ inch, stitch along here. I like to make things easy, and this way this project is going to be very, very easy. Nice and neat, nice and neat. And then we're just going to stitch the whole way around the edge. So ½ inch, as I say again, just reverse there, make sure they're all lined up around the curve, and around here line these up too, and around the top there. Nice long curve, which makes that easy just to whiz around. Make sure they all line up beautifully too. Around the shoulders, down to the bottom, and reverse. Okay, so we are done there. We have got a little bit of thread there, a little bit of thread there. Now what I would also do, clip into these curves in the side, and there we are, to make, and clip around this curve here, so on these outer edges. On this occasion, where I usually trim back these edges, I want this to remain sort of fairly sturdy, so I would rather clip into these edges, and may as well go up around here, then cut it back, because who knows, we might cut a little bit too close and it might come on or pull apart. So let's just go round the curves like this. That's a straight edge. So round these curves. Oh, now can you see how I didn't line that up very well? So I'm going to go back in around here. There we go. And there we are. So I have actually, I'm going to trim some of that off now. Didn't line it up. I wasn't looking at the outer edge properly. But So now I've got a better, there we are, a better seam allowance there, and we can just clip into these around, oh, I've done there. Okay, so next thing is turn it to the right side. So we can push that piece in at the top. So our tab piece, the piece that's going to go over the handle and join. And I tell you, this is honestly, it is so easy, but they'd make lovely little gifts at Christmas or birthdays, whatever you like. Nice craft fair items that don't take very long at all and don't really take that much fabric. And, you know, your tea towels can be as good a quality or as lower quality as you like. It may be that you've got lots of tea towels sitting in your cupboards or in your drawers that are not used, and you could use them. Okay, so there is our piece. Now I am just going to, let me just pop this on here so that you can see. I'm just going to take it to the iron or the ironing board rather than drag it in. And I'm just going to give it a little press. And it will make it look 100 times better. Okay, so just give that a little press out. And I can see already that the curves are really good. There we go. Because we clipped around this edge here, we clipped into this curve and around that one and that one. So now all we need to do is fold our tea towel so that it will fit into that gap. Now I can see that's not far enough. So I'm just going to move that over a little bit more and let's just see how that is. We want it to come just to the edges. So I can see I've moved that one in quite a bit. So I'm only doing a fold at each edge. This is more like a toweling tea towel. So if you've got the thinner ones, you could do a lot more folds and it won't make it too bulky. So that is going to fit exactly in there. Now, just to make it a little bit easier, before I put it in, I'm actually going to stitch across these pleats so that it's all held together. Okay, so across where the pleats are, and I might even, turn that up a little bit. There we go. And then similarly here, I'll just stitch across, make sure that goes over that lumpy bit there, so that they're all held together. So now, oops, let's cut that little bit off, and that bit. Okay, so now what we can do is slot this, let's do it this way round here. Right, slot this into our opening. So that can go just there. And I'm slotting a good 1/2 inch in there because I want to make sure that that is in there to stay. Okay, I can feel there's perhaps 1 inch. So I can feel where that is coming to. And also, by pushing about 1/2 inch of tea towel in there, it means I'm not going to be stitching on that thick edge that was already there in the manufacturing of the tea towel. So having got that in place, I am now going to stitch across here. And I've still got there we are. I've still got a long stitch length and I'm stitching sort of fairly close to the edge. Right, and one more, and then, oh, that was just one too many. Okay, and then I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So I've got my stitch line that I already had on there. Let's come down just a little bit more. And I'm going to go past that so that I come this side, so that I've actually got 3 rows, and I'm still not on that thick edging of the tea towel. But I've got 3 rows of stitching along here, and I know that that is going to be absolutely fine and held well. So just down this edge and off. Okay, so you can see now that's all held in place. Next thing, let's just clip these little ends of thread here and here and there. Oops, on the back. But it's nice and neat, that little bit. Okay, nothing there. So it's as neat on the back as the front. And then all we need to do, on the template, there are markings as to where, for placement of your poppers. But I can see that is about right. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I'm actually going to top stitch around the edge here because I think that will be nice. But we can do that now. That's not a problem at all. So let me just stitch all the way around here. I'm doing probably 1/8 of an inch. I think because I've used fusible fleece, it looks nice and neat anyway. So we'll go a little bit slower to get around here. Slower than I was when I was stitching it together. That's it, so round the curves, nice and slowly. And down to the bottom. And I think I would reverse there as well. So let's just trim that off. That's better. That gives a nicer finish there. And we have that gone, nothing there. So you can see there, just that top stitching around the edge. So we can either fold it that way, or we can fold it that way. And let's see, I'll fold it this way. I think, no, I'll fold it that way. So you can use your template here to mark where your popper is going to go. Whoops, there we go. Where the popper is going to go here. So, or you can just eyeball. I'm going to put it just there, but the poppers will work. So I'm going to cut myself a little slit there. Let's see if I can find myself the right colour popper to go in here. So it can either be that, or it could be that. I think we'll go for this green one here. So I need 2 of those. I need what do I need? An innie and an outie. So let's have a look here. Whoops. So there is an outie, and I just want an innie, which is just underneath. There we go. So we've got 1 set of cam snaps there, and let's set them to the side for a moment. And this is going to go, I can't remember, this way, that's right. So having cut my little slit just there, this is going to be the top. So I'm just popping that one in, and on the top, I'm going to put my snap and get my tool where I'm going to put the button one into that cap, and then the spongy bit, the silicone ring. So there we have the one button, and there is the outie. So if we fold that over, you want a little bit of fabric showing here. So fold that over, and for your second one, let's fold it up a little bit actually. For the second one, I lift that up, see where that is sitting, and it's there. So I'm going to pop a little slit there. And this time we want the button on the back. So go to the reverse of it and pop that through. Let's see where we are. There it is, I think. And there is my little hole. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's just popped through just there. Button on the back, because that is going to come and fold over there. So then I can put my innie on that side. We can get the button into that back piece, and it just needs to squidge up a little bit. Whoops, no, I've got it in there. Let's have a look there. Right, so I've got the button in there, and then press down tightly, or 2 or 3 times. So I've got my cap there, press that in, Bob's your uncle, and it's ready. As simple as that. Really couldn't be easier, could it? Easy as that. So let's just have a look. So a few more people here now. So there it is. And I think it's brightened up my not so clean, well, it is a clean tea towel, but it is not pristine white. But that is going to hang over. Don't think I've got a pole here too. I could cut over the scissors, couldn't I? So it's just going to hang on your, either your oven, or if you've used a bath towel or hand towel, that will hang on your bathroom ring, or the holder that you've got for your towels. But that's ample for drying odd little bits. Hello, Pauline. Ample for holding little bits, for drying little bits, or as I say, that's it. Or as I say, in the bathroom, if you're just drying your hands, you don't need much more than half a towel. For a towel, it's going to be bigger than your tea towel, so you probably might want to widen this so that you don't have too many folds going across, because you would be using similar. This is like a towel as opposed to a linen, a cotton linen, a tea towel, which are lovely for doing glasses. But it's just something beautifully easy, lovely and easy, and a quick make. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we are. Gosh, we've only done about half an hour, but I have got lots of packing to do. And as I say, I didn't want you to miss out. Yeah, hand towel idea. It is a nice little idea. And I mean, had I used, it's a shame really, that I've got a dark stripe here, a green in the middle, and nothing on that side. It's just the way it is. But if you imagine you've got some nice, you can get some lovely, colourful, pictorial ones that you get from seaside places or large towns and cities. You could make those into something lovely, and just as a statement piece, because they wouldn't be used very much particularly. Or as your everyday, why not use something like that? Okay, I am going to love you and leave you because I need to get on with packing. Lots of orders to do, and I want to get them ready for Monday morning posting. So it will be with you as soon as possible, possibly Tuesday, but Wednesday probably at the latest, unless you're in Northern Ireland, when they do usually come a little bit later than that. Absolutely right, Jeeta. And they'd hang up on a rail, wouldn't they, and look really, really pretty, because it's always good when you can see lots of a similar project, but in different colourways. Okay, so I'll leave you there now. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it warms up for you. If you've got cold weather like I have, or if the sun's out with you, let it stay out until sundown, and let's have a beautiful day tomorrow. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.